Yo, yo, yo. Peace and richest blessings. I hope you're having an amazing, blessed day. Sending you all the love, all the good vibes wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us. Welcome back to the Burnell Washburn podcast, episode 7. We keep growing immensely every single episode, so I'm convinced it's because you guys are sharing it and telling people about it, because I haven't really been promoting it that hard, or maybe my people are just starting to get aboard, but it really helps when you guys are sharing it on your Instagram stories and all that, so a huge thank you and respect to everyone that's doing that. I really appreciate that. Today's going to be a somewhat quicker episode. I feel like I wanted to talk about a couple things and just help you raise your vibration, send you off with some good inspiration, and leave you feeling empowered and inspired and uplifted. And that's what we're all about here with the Burnell Washburn podcast, is sharing mindsets, stories, strategies, tools, techniques, tactics, anything that you can basically use to make your life doper and live just a more fulfilled, happier quality of life. Like, that is my obsession, my passion. That's why I do this. That's why I make my YouTube videos. That's why I make music. That's why I'm on this earth, is to just help people thrive and help show people how great we all are. Because, like, we're all just like walking pieces of God or the creator or the universe or whatever name you want to give it. Really doesn't matter. We're all a part of this divine one energy expressing itself in all these different ways. And like, I just love helping people reach their potential and see how great they are and live their dreams. I was just thinking about earlier today, someone hit me up saying like I was the first one to ever put them on a show to perform their music. And I was like, man, I've done that for so many people, and it really feels doper than all of the dope shows I've played combined. Like, I've performed with the biggest names in the world. I've gotten paid, thousands of dollars to travel around the world and play with the big names. And like, I don't want to make it sound like thousands of dollars per show, like thousands of dollars overall, but you know what I'm saying. Disclaimer alert, trying to keep it real. But anyway, I've helped a lot of people do that, and I get so much joy and fulfillment out of like seeing someone take a dream from their head and like actually live it in real life and help facilitate that for them. It feels so good. Hold on, let me take off this noisy jacket. I feel like that thing's gonna cause way too much unnecessary noise right now. So, anyway, I just get a lot of fulfillment out of helping people thrive, and it lights me up more than living my own dreams does. Like, I love achieving something myself, but helping someone else achieve it just lights my soul on fire even more. Like, when I was really into skateboarding and my dream was to be a pro skateboarder, I just loved helping other people learn the trick. Like, as soon as I learned how to kickflip, I taught every kid in my neighborhood how to kickflip, and I would spend hours with them, showing them the techniques and coaching them and like really encouraging them. Like, oh, you almost got it. You just need to do it like a little bit more like this, bro. You're so close. You're so close. And like, I got everyone to land a kickflip, and seeing them land their first kickflip, like, because when you first start skateboarding, that's like the first milestone. And it takes a while to learn that. You learn how to ollie pretty early on, and like learning how to kickflip is just it's an undescribable joy. Like, if you haven't ever skateboarded, I'm sure there's something in your life you can relate to where like you just finally did something that you thought was so hard, and it's like the best feeling ever, and it just pumps you up to do even more and blows your own mind and shows you what you're capable of. So like, I loved the feeling and the energy of doing it myself, and then I got to relive it every time I helped someone else do it. So the same thing was with music. Like, I performed with all these big names and all these dope shows and lived out my dreams in so many ways, but I get even more stoked helping someone else do that, And like, I felt like there was a lot of gatekeepers when I started, so I like broke down the gates, and I was just like, I'm gonna let everyone in and show everyone that they can have a place here. And that was for the most part a really good thing, and I'm glad I did that over the years, and I've helped so many people live their dreams or perform at festivals or just get their first time on stage or maybe open for one of their idols or give them their first paycheck. The first time they ever made money off their music was like me paying them for a show, and maybe I was one of the first like somewhat credible cats in the scene to recognize them or something like that and show them some love. So there's a lot to be said with that, and that's the whole reason. That's a long way of just saying that's why I'm doing this entire podcast, and that's why it means the world to me when you guys are sharing it, when you guys are really just like commenting and engaging and leaving these 5-star reviews. It helps out so much. I really think this podcast could just be a life changer for not only me, but for so many people that are listening to it. You know what I mean? And the more people we can reach, the more lives we can impact in a positive way. And like, who knows, your boy could be like getting huge brand deals and bigger speaking gigs than I'm already getting, and huge coaching clients, and beyond all of that, like dear friends and family and people that I'll be able to collaborate with, and I can be meeting all these people through the reach of this audio content. That's why podcasts are just so special. Like, it's crazy how all my mentors and idols pretty much right now I found through podcasts. Like, a little bit on YouTube, but for the most part, like, it's podcast, it's audio. Like, I'll be on a certain subject or a vibe, or someone will put me on to something, and I start listening, and their work changed my life, and I start following them on Instagram, and I start working with them, and next thing you know, we're friends, and I'm like building this new empowered, awesome, inspired tribe of beautiful souls through audio content. That's the power of this. So like, yeah, you can make a lot of money doing this. Yeah, you can impact a lot of people. But like, beyond all that, I feel like it's going to bring the next level of connections that my life really needs. On a soul spiritual level, like not just connections that can benefit me on a business standpoint or something like that. That's not what I mean. Although that will probably be a byproduct of it as well. The main benefit is like the soul connections, like bringing the soul tribe together so I can connect with like-minded people, and we can talk about topics that light me up and light each other up, that, you know what I mean? Because like, I get so introverted and so bored around like a lot of these, you know, shows. I've just done so many underground rap shows at bars, and I'm not trying to like hate on that. That's like my passion, but over the years it got to the point where I'm like, yo, I've heard these same conversations from drunk people over and over and over again, and my soul is just yearning and craving for like some type of different conversation. Again, that's not to put anyone down or disrespect, especially not the hip-hop community that just gave me life and is everything to me, but you know what I mean. Like, you just start to grow in different ways, and you start to like kind of need different things in life, and I feel like this podcast is going to help me do that in a major way. It's going to bring all the next wave of people that I can connect with and travel with and celebrate life with and live the dream. So thank you for being a part of this movement. It means the world to me. Today I want to talk about that. I guess I just rambled for like the first 8 minutes on that whole subject that wasn't even planned, but what I really wanted to talk about was, oh damn, of course the heat turns off right now. That's tight. I swear the heater turns on like, no, I'm not gonna say that. The heater always turns off when I start recording. I'm so blessed. Gotta reframe, gotta reprogram. But yo, what I am just like super inspired to talk about with you today is celebration, and why you should celebrate things more. The small things, the big things, the failures, the attempts. Celebration is such a beautiful frequency, and it's like in harmony with everything we desire. Because if you got all the things you would really be stoked on getting, you'd be in a spirit of celebration. That would be like the immediate frequency that followed you receiving whatever you want to receive in life. Whether it's that dream job or that vacation or that hit song or whatever it is, you'll be celebrating when you get it. And so why not celebrate now? If you understand how energy works on a quantum level, you really understand that like everything's just a frequency, and we attract whatever frequency we are resonating at. So we don't get what we want in life, we get what we are. We get whatever vibration we're giving out, whatever we're putting off, whatever we're embodying now is what we're going to get more of. So, in order to get the things we want, why don't we just celebrate now to tap into that frequency? It's such a beautiful and powerful way to manifest everything we want in life. And I can't tell you how many times I've just celebrated things and I just get more and more of those. If you celebrate any money that comes into your life, more money keeps starting to appear. It's magic. When you celebrate getting booked on shows, like me, I celebrate getting booked on shows no matter how big or small. Like, I start getting on this wavelength where I attract so many shows, and the more I celebrate things, the more blessings keep coming, like, faster and faster. So I encourage you to celebrate, like, everything in your life. Every day should be cause for celebration, and you should have different reasons to celebrate. And you don't have to wait until you achieve something to celebrate it. Celebrate planting the seed. Celebrate attempting it. Celebrate learning about it. Celebrate, like, you don't have to wait till your company does $100 million in revenue to have a celebration party. You should go have a party and celebrate, or go out to dinner and do something just because you registered the domain name for your business. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. Like, yesterday, for example, I emailed an influencer who I'm dying to have on my podcast, who I just admire and respect and look up to so much. And she just has so much wisdom and power and magic to share that nothing would make me happier than to have her be the first interview on my podcast. Because so far it's just been me on every single episode, but I plan on doing, like, amazing interviews down the road. So I finally had the courage to email her, and I did it in a high vibrational state. I went to her website and downloaded her PDF on media, so I knew exactly what types of interviews she was down to do, and I made sure to include, like, all the questions that she had and the criteria in my email. And I basically, like, spent like an hour or two emailing her to pitch having her interviewed on my podcast. And I haven't heard back from her yet because it was just last night that I sent it, but I have a very good feeling she's going to say yes. And regardless, I celebrated it last night. I celebrated it in a couple of ways, just some fun little ways that just felt good to me. One of them was just, like, making a bowl of nice cream, which is, like, bananas and cacao powder, and you can make it a lot of ways, but it's, like, healthier version of ice cream because you're just using organic, raw, natural foods to make it. No dairy or no extra, like, bullshit in there. Sugar and stuff like that, except for lots of sugar from the bananas, so it's delicious. But that was a way to celebrate. I decided after I get all this stuff done today, I'm gonna celebrate by having a bowl of nice cream and just chilling out on the couch for like 2 hours watching a movie. It was so lit. Oh my God, I just, like, got stoked on life, and I just lived it up. And it wasn't because she said yes. It wasn't because I got 100,000 downloads on the episode. I don't even know if she's even seen my email yet. But I gave it my all. I literally made the best possible attempt that I could in that, in that space in my life. And I felt proud of that, so I celebrated it. And whether she says yes or no is not even, like, I'm not even attached to the outcome on that, because I trust in the universe on whatever's meant to happen is meant to happen. And if she's not supposed to be on my podcast, then she won't be. If she is, she is. Then she will be. So I can feel good about just taking the action rather than, like, getting a specific result. That's the beauty of falling in love with the process rather than the result. Like, I found out over my soul searching and kind of, like, spiritual awakening that's constantly happening and, constantly in progress. I've really started to understand the essence of the journey is, like, the beauty is. We've all heard that quote, like, happiness is not a destination, it's a journey. And it's like silly and cliche, but it's so true. Like, I am more in love with the pursuit of going after the things that I'm going after than I am with actually obtaining them, because there's always a next level. And it doesn't mean you're like ungrateful or it's like blissfully dissatisfied. You're just like so stoked and grateful for where you at, but every time you get where you're at, you develop even more potential, and so you get excited for the next level, and you're just in this constant state of evolution and growth. And that's like the nature of the universe. It's not a bad thing. It's not being greedy. It's nature. Nature keeps expanding constantly. The universe is infinitely expanding. Trees just grow as much as they possibly can, and they keep producing as many leaves and as many fruits and vegetables as they possibly can. There's just like, I don't know, it's the fulfilling thing in nature to just keep growing and expanding. So it doesn't mean you're ungrateful or whatever like that. It's just like, feels good to constantly be chasing that next level. And I found over the last couple of years especially that I just love going after the next highest version of myself. And when I feel like I'm pursuing that to the highest level of my ability, that is cause for celebration. That it feels so good. If I feel inspired, uplifted, empowered, I feel the most alive. I feel like I'm on the right path, and my life just feels amazing. When I know I'm capable of a lot more and I'm not really doing anything about it, and I'm just kind of being complacent, or I'm slipping into lower patterns and lower habits, that's when I don't feel too hot about myself. And those times are still valuable and important because it gives me the contrast and helps me grow and helps remind me why I want to do the good habits and routines, and helps me, step back into the light, and the shadows help me grow immensely. But for the most part, I just feel amazing when I'm like reaching up for that next highest version of myself, and I celebrate that now. I used to wait till I got to some destination to celebrate, and I feel like that's the old paradigm, and I don't know, like I've shifted into this energy of I'm going to celebrate like every time I attempt something. If I make a solid effort, I'm going to party. So like I'm highly considering throwing these events for a small mastermind, like a small group of people that listen to this podcast who would want to meet up. We could do it in person. We could do it on video, on a Google Hangout. We could do it at a restaurant. We could, whatever. We could do it out in nature. There's so many different ways we could do it, but the essence of it is like a celebration group where we just all get together and we celebrate each other's wins. We celebrate each other's efforts. I'm saying celebrate like super weird. Celebrate. Celebrate. We celebrate. I don't know. Sometimes words start to sound like a trip after you say them so many times. But I'm trying to put together this group where we celebrate each other's wins. We maybe go out to dinner and like everyone talks about the dope shit that they did that week, or like the efforts that, hey, I just registered my business, and we all make a toast to them and say cheers, and we all get stoked for them and congratulate them. Or the next dude's like, hey, I just had my first $10,000 month, or my, whatever. We're like, yes, dude, congrats. And we all get stoked for each other. And then the magic of it would be also like masterminding, where we sneak in things that we maybe haven't accomplished yet, or things that we would like to manifest, because you can speak these things into existence. I do it all the time. I will literally write out text messages or Facebook posts that are like scripting journaling of like living out, describing the future as if it's already happened the way I want it to happen. So whenever I'm throwing a show, at least now, and it's really worked the last few shows I've done this on, I write out a Facebook post ahead of the time before the shows even happen, as if it just went down like so amazing. So I'll write out this, and I won't post it. I'll just write it in my phone and like save it so I can post it. Ooh, nice. It's 222. My 222 alarm says, what's one big thing you're doing today to move forward? Shit. Well, I'm making this podcast. I am eating super healthy, intermittent fasting, working out, did my meditation. I did good on all my habits, and I'm gonna email one potential sponsor that I would like to sponsor me. Okay, that's good. I like that. That alarm makes me really think about where I'm at and what I'm doing, and if I need to step my game up. I have different triggers that go off. You've probably heard them on some of the other episodes. They go off like every hour, and they have different prompts for me. But anyway, I make these Facebook posts in my phone, and I don't actually post them, but I write out like as if the show already happened. So it's like, holy shit, huge thank you to everyone that came out to the show last night. That was literally the most insane show of my career. Thank you guys so much. My heart is overwhelmed, overflowing with gratitude. I'm just oozing with love right now. We ended up having over 300 and something people pay at the door, and blah blah blah. Like I'll write out this post as if it's already happened, and I do this with all areas of my life. I did this with the house before when I was like had nowhere to live, and I was about to my lease was about to expire at my last place, and I hadn't found the new spot yet. I made a Facebook post, and I didn't actually post it, but I just pretended to of like, I am so stoked to announce that I've just moved into an amazing new place that feels so perfect for me, and I'm so grateful that the universe lined up to help me move into this house just when I needed it. And like I just wrote this whole post, and then it's crazy how like things just happen to a T. So if you've seen some of my YouTube videos about scripting and how to manifest the life of your dreams through scripting, it's crazy because like you'll just write out the future as if it's already happened how you want it, and then your subconscious mind and just forces that magical forces and everything, and just you end up taking the right actions to make it happen. So it obviously doesn't just happen while you sit there and do nothing, but like you've like almost encoded this into your cellular memory on some crazy quantum level that we don't quite understand, but you just start embodying it and you do it, and then it happens. So I urge you to write out the life of your dreams. I'm going to probably do an entire episode on this where I'm going to tell you like multiple specific stories, and I'll pull out my old journals and we can take a look at them together and see beautiful things that have manifested. And I'd love to hear if you guys have any stories of this scripting method, manifesting or just creating dreams and bringing them into existence. I do it a lot through visualization, a lot through scripting, a lot through speaking it into existence. I use all these methods, with each other. So I kind of got off on a tangent there. What was I saying right before that? Oh yes. So I'll write down like these posts as if everything's already happened, how I want it, and everything comes true. So I wanted to do that with like a group where we meet up and have these masterminds where it's like a celebration dinner or party, and like if people are willing to pay for it, I would be willing to, throw down on it as well and get some sponsors involved, where we maybe rent out like a nice suite in a hotel or a nice restaurant or something really dope. And we don't have to spend money, but we could even get an amazing little picnic spot in the mountains, or, go to a beach somewhere. And we just celebrate each other's wins, and we are allowed to bring things that we are currently trying to manifest and talk about them as if they've already happened. Jack Canfield, one of my favorite authors, who really was a catalyst in my transformation, especially with his book, The Success Principles. He talks about, he's also part of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, the co-creator of that, and he was in the movie The Secret, and he's just kind of been a mentor for me over the years, especially when I was starting out in my self-development journey. But he does these things called Come As You'll Be parties, and I actually had a dream where we went to one of these parties, which was like a super sick dream, but people show up as the person that they had already liked to be. So if they're trying to become a movie star, they show up dressed like a movie star. They tell everybody about their latest movie. All night long, they carry themselves like a movie star. Everyone respects them and treats them accordingly as a movie star, and talks to them like, oh, how's your latest movie? I saw you just got nominated for a Grammy or whatever. Like, an Oscar or a Tony, whatever it is, and just treats them like a full-blown movie star. And like, or if you're trying to be a $1 million a month entrepreneur, you show up as that version of yourself and you talk like that all night and you just embody that, and everyone celebrates it with you and congratulates you for it. And Jack Canfield has lots of stories about people coming to these come as you'll be parties, and then like 3 years later they're actually living that dream full blown. So there's something really valuable about just embodying the person that you want to be. And you obviously it's not gonna just work. You just do like one come as you'll be party and then you go do a bunch of bad habits all for the rest of the year after that. Like that's silly, but it helps you understand what it's like to be that version of yourself. So then you can carry yourself accordingly through your daily habits and actions and choices, and all of your choices start to become more aligned with that version of you. That's the same reason I do like my future self guided meditations and visualizations where I meet my future self, because I become strongly connected with what it's like to be that version of myself, and then I know how to be like that more. I know how to think like that, eat like that, walk like that, talk like that, speak like, everything. I can just embody that so much easier once I've kind of tapped into that frequency. So I think it would be amazing to host a gathering, and it could be weekly, monthly, even yearly, where a mastermind of us just get together and we kind of do like our own version as the come as you'll be party mixed with like a celebration dinner where we celebrate things that already have manifested and things that we want to manifest with each other, and we just use that synergy and the co-creative energy of like multiple minds coming together and multiple hearts coming together. It's powerful. Like, I can't tell. It's some of the most amazing things I've been able to manifest in my life have come from mastermind, like group situations where multiple people were very strongly desiring the same thing and felt like the same frequencies about it. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. Is just I wanted to kind of give you a reason to celebrate life more. Like, if you woke up, it's a reason to celebrate. If you had food to eat, it's a reason to celebrate. If you sent that email that you were scared to send, it's a reason to celebrate. If you worked out today for the first time in months, that's a reason to celebrate. If you did anything remotely close towards the version of yourself that you want to be, and you started implementing, even a tiny bit of a better habit, celebrate it. Because we're like children. The reason is not just like to celebrate because, life's short and let's live it up. It's like, that's part of it. But the other reason is like, we're like goal-seeking organisms, and we will do more of whatever like we're getting rewarded, whatever we're getting attention for. So it's just kind of like the positive reinforcement with children. If you're raising a kid and you want them to get better grades in school, there's a lot of studies on you reward them like just amazingly, like so much whenever they do good. If they got D's last month and they got a C this month, you like take them out to dinner and make them feel so good about themselves. And the reason is that positive reinforcement gets them excited and wants them to get more of that positive intention. So they want to go crush it even more next month so they can have that treat or that reward again, so they can go out to dinner again, or so their mom or dad can make them feel good about themselves again, and shower them with a little praise or something like that. So positive reinforcement works like on so many levels, and it's so much more powerful than like negative reinforcement. Like, if you only acknowledge a kid when they mess up and do bad shit, and that's the only time you give them attention, that's why, like, Brother Ali has a line. He's like, that's why good kids do bad, or that's why bad kids do bad shit, just so they can get caught and get touched. And he's like talking about these bad kids doing bad shit just so they can get attention, because otherwise they get ignored, and the only time their parents seem to really give a shit about them is when they got in trouble or something like that. And so it's a subconscious thing, but positive reinforcement works majorly within ourselves. So I'm all about giving myself positive reinforcement. Hey, bro, you did what you said you can do, or you did what you said you were going to do. Go celebrate with that nice cream right now. Go have that dark chocolate. And it doesn't always have to be a physical reward or, some type of treat or something, because there can be some drawbacks from doing that. But even just giving yourself the pat on the back or the emotional, hey, I feel good about myself. I'm on path right now. I'm doing what I said I was going to do. And that makes you more confident, boosts your self-esteem, gives you momentum. It's like this feedback loop where your brain's like, see, told you I was badass. I'm going to go do even more badass stuff now. Especially if you're like pairing this with affirmations and incantations and a lot of the things that we've been talking about. You tell yourself like, I'm healthy. I feel amazing. My health improves every day. Those are positive affirmations and incantations that I use every day. And like that feels good, but then when I actually eat healthy all day and work out, my brain goes, see, I said I was healthy and that I make healthier and healthier choices, and I just did that. Told you, I'm a boss. My health is improving every day. And then the next day I just wake up feeling like more empowered and like this better version of myself. And I want to keep up that train of like positivity. I want to keep up that I felt so good about doing the right thing, and I gave myself all these happy chemicals by like rewarding myself and celebrating it within myself just by feeling good about it, that I want to go do it again so I can feel good about myself again today. Because if I slip off path, I'm going to feel shitty about myself. I'm going to feel like a lower version of myself. And we all have times. Don't beat yourself up over it. We all have our down days. But the reason having our down days doesn't feel good is because we know we can do better. And it's like, you feel good when you eat right and you work out. So you got to remember that when you're about to go do something low vibration or like fall into your lower habits. Just remember, it's actually going to feel better to not do this and do the other thing, even though I think so badly every part of me wants this candy bar right now or whatever, like, and there's a time and place to just indulge in that, but you're going to feel better because you tell yourself this morning that you wrote down in your affirmation journal that your health is improving every day. And when you back that up with an action that resonates with that, you're going to feel so good about yourself, you're going to want to do it even better tomorrow. And it's just that positive reinforcement that's so powerful, and it creates magical momentum in our life. So I encourage you to celebrate more, to give yourself that positive reinforcement. I honestly, it's like I was talking about in one of the other episodes about like quitting smoking and things like that. It's like, rather than beating myself up on the days when I had, when I was saying, I'm down to 3 cigarettes a day, rather than beating myself up on the day where I slipped up and had 4, I celebrated on the days when I had 3 or that I only had 2. Hey man, I told myself I was down to 3 and I only had 2 today. Yes, dude, I'm killing it, man. Like, I'm overcoming this easily. Like, I'm you know what I mean? And then the next day I feel so good about myself. I want to keep up that high vibration, and I don't want to do anything to ruin it. So it's just easier, and it doesn't take as much willpower to stay on path. So give yourself the positive reinforcement, and it doesn't mean you should always I'm super self-aware of my own flaws and shortcomings and insecurities and downfalls. So be aware of that. Obviously, self-awareness, you're not going to just turn a blind eye and pretend that you're perfect all the time. But most people naturally are going to focus on their flaws and their downfalls more than they're going to give themselves props for the good things that they're doing. Especially if you're like me, I'm more likely to, and that's probably why I'm sharing this message, because I just need this message more than anyone, and they say we tend to teach whatever we need the most, so I listen to my own podcast after I record it, and it helps me. But anyway, like, I'm just more liable to like beat myself up if I slip a tiny bit off path. I could have like 10 just super amazing, awesome days in a row where I'm just crushing all my good habits and staying super disciplined and staying on a high vibration. And I won't really acknowledge myself as much as I should for that. And then the one day where I mess up and slip off and just have like a low vibe day where I'm not feeling it and just really don't want to take that cold shower, and I really don't want to work out, and I really just want to like eat a bunch of shitty food and just sit around. And like sometimes you need days like that to like pull you back on path and remember like why you're doing like the good things. But man, like I'll beat myself up so hard for that, and I'll just feel like my whole life is crashing down on that one day after it's like I gotta remember, like, bro, you've been crushing it all month. It's okay. It's okay. You'll bounce back from this, no problem. It's okay. But reward yourself, celebrate it. Take yourself out to dinner. Find a friend that you can celebrate with. Like I did my first kind of like live webinar. Actually, it wasn't live, but it was like a screen recording webinar basically where I talked about my first ever online course about how to sell beats online. And it was my first time walking through a presentation. Like, it was my first time creating an entire presentation slideshow that I put like hours and hours and a lot of heart into, and it was an overview of my whole course. And as my first time like doing a screen recording of that while I was talking, and it was something I've been wanting to do for a long time. I've seen all these mentors and people I look up to doing stuff like that, and I know it's an essential skill to have in like the next phase of my life where I'm going to be doing a lot of online teaching and a lot online coaching and mentoring and on courses and things like that that enable me to impact a lot of lives at once and like live a location free lifestyle. Because like even with shows I have to be in a certain city at a certain time to make my money and stuff like that, whereas like the webinar stuff, like I'd love to just be in Bali at a nice like house in the jungle and living the dream, soaking it up, and being able to like promote my online course and get tons of students and know that I'm like changing people's lives while I'm out there and like making tons of money from it. That's kind of like, you know, one of my many dreams that I have right now that I'm really manifesting, that I'm bringing into fruition. And I knew that like doing this kind of webinar screen capture and like putting my first course out there and like sort of launching it to the world, even though it was just like the beta version, it felt so good to do that I had to call someone to celebrate. So I called one of my best friends who I knew would be excited for me and who would like be down to like actually care about what I'm doing and like give me some support and some, also I wanted some feedback from him, and which he gave me, and I'm very grateful for. And a couple people gave me some just like a beautiful tips on that. But I like in that moment I needed someone to celebrate. I needed someone to say, guess what? I just did this thing. I don't even have any result from it yet. I don't even know if anyone cares or if anyone's going to watch this. But it's on Facebook now. It's on YouTube now. Who knows if anyone's going to care about my course or sign up for it or whatever. But guess what? I felt so good about doing it. I had to celebrate. And that time I celebrated by calling a friend and just sharing the moment. Other times I might celebrate by watching a movie, going out to a movie, taking my daughter out on a daddy-daughter dinner date. You know what I'm saying? Like anything that I consider to be fun or memorable or pleasurable is very important, and it puts me on this frequency where I just start attracting like everything I want. And it's so crazy, like, and especially if you can share that celebration, that's the real key to life. Because like people say it's lonely at the top or whatever, and it's like maybe because they're not celebrating it. I think that's like a stupid limiting belief, but because I think there's a lot of amazing people at the top to share things with. But anyway, success that's not shared is not success at all. So when you have people to share it with and you make time to go celebrate things, it doesn't have to be huge, but go share that success and that celebrate it with somebody, because it'll put them on a frequency to attract more, so they can have more things to celebrate. It'll give you more things to celebrate. One of my mentors was saying the other day that the more we celebrate, the more we have to celebrate. And the more we have to celebrate, the more we celebrate, and the more we have to celebrate. And it's just like this infinite loop of celebration vibes. So get out there and celebrate the small things, celebrate the good habits, celebrate the small, tiny little things. You made your bed this morning? Celebrate that with something small. I thought it was kind of funny. Post Malone went to Olive Garden to celebrate having like a platinum record. I'm like, bro, you can go somewhere, maybe like a skosh nicer than Olive Garden, for how well you're doing, bro. But like respect, because he's like that. And he lives here in Utah now, which is a trip. People keep seeing him around. But anyway, celebrate like anything and everything you can, and you'll just have more to celebrate. Reward yourself, bless yourself. I can't stress it enough. I know I'm kind of just going on and on about the same thing, but that's for a reason. That's because I want it to deeply embed in your subconscious. That's why I'm not just saying it once real quick and then brushing past it, because I think this is like an important key to life. And that's why it kind of granted me doing like a whole episode. So that's all I'm going to say about celebration and why it's so important, because it's just going to put you on the frequency to attract everything you want. And man, it's such a magical power. So the last thing that I want to kind of end the episode on is the power of gratitude. I'll probably talk about this again and again and again for the rest of my life. I have the word gratitude tattooed across my forearm because it's that important. Literally, when we just come to appreciate all the blessings in our life, that's like the highest vibration we can be on. The universe never owed us anything. It didn't owe us anything. It didn't owe us a single second of existence. And yet here it is, giving us all of it, giving us everything. Opportunities, contrast, growth, lessons, blessings on blessings, sunshine, water to drink, food to eat, clothes to wear. If you're listening to this, you have ears you can listen to. I have a voice. I can talk to you. We're so blessed. So I just wanted to take the last few minutes of this podcast to remind you how many things we all have to be grateful for. And it's not about comparing ourselves to who has less or more, because a lot of people try to like tap into gratitude of like, oh, look at how many people have it so much worse than you. You should be grateful. Yeah, you should be grateful because there's all these starving kids in Africa, and look at you, bro. You need to be grateful. And like that's almost like a condescending weird way of trying to make someone feel grateful. And it doesn't resonate with me all the time. Sometimes I do get super grateful looking and seeing how blessed I really do have it compared to others. But I just wanted to tap you on the shoulder and just say, I love you. I'm grateful to have you in my life. I'm grateful to have you listening to this podcast, whether I know you or not. Whether this is your first time listening or whether we've been friends for years, like, thank you. Thank you for being a part of my experience. Thank you for investing the time to listen to these words. Like, what you just gave me, 43 minutes of your time so far, is a valuable gift. And I hope that every time you give me that valuable gift, that I give you 100 times that in return. And I hope that these words will continue to inspire you and uplift you and teach you things and help shift your frequency whenever you need it. Because I know I might not always be saying profoundly new things. Sometimes I'm just sharing reminders that you might have needed to hear today. And I know that I need to hear these things again and again and again and again to keep me on path, because I shift into the wrong frequency or, less desirable frequencies all the time. And I'm so grateful that other people are sharing their love and their wisdom and their joy with me. And it just takes a few words to just put me right on a good frequency again. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for tuning in. I love you guys so much. I really appreciate you. I really appreciate everyone that's not only been listening, but the ones of you that have been screenshotting this and sharing it on your IG stories, tagging me in it, telling your friends to listening to it, just texting the link out to a homie, commenting on the YouTube or the Facebook post. Like, wow, it means the world to me that anyone would listen to the words I have to say. And yeah, I'm super, super grateful for it, because I love being able to share these messages. And whether I end up turning this into a super lucrative business that pays me lots of money and brings me abundant, awesome opportunities or not, I'm just grateful that I'm trying something and that I'm expressing my heart, and that other people are listening to me express my heart, because that's been one of my deepest desires since I've been a little kid. I've just always wanted to be heard. I've always wanted to be understood. So thank you for hearing me. I love you. Don't forget that you have a unique voice. You have so much power living inside of you. So go out there in the world and share your gifts freely and fully with the world, because the world needs you. The world needs you to share those gifts, because only you have those exact gifts and unique perspectives and unique talents and unique ways of doing whatever you do. So I urge you to get out there and share it with the world as much as you possibly can. I love you. Thank you for listening. Have an incredible rest of your day. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't. Make sure to drop a comment, leave a review, and we'll see you later this week for 15-Minute Friday. The new episodes come out every Tuesday and every Friday morning at 5:55 a.m. So thank you so much for listening. I love y'all. We will see you on the next episode. Feel free to holler at me on Instagram or my email or whatever. If you have any topics or ideas or things that you'd like to hear me talk about on this podcast, or guest suggestions of people you think would be amazing to interview, or just anything in general, if you want to holler at me, I'm out there. Cheer. Peace.